Flooded streets, cars stranded, mudslides, and more. News 5 has comprehensive team coverage of tonight's blast of weather and what you need to know to stay safe.
Tonight at 10, Mother Nature isn't done yet. Thunderstorms and flash flood watch is still active. I'll let you know what to prepare for coming up in your First Alert 5 forecast.
The Arkansas River in Florence already feet beyond its banks, and the worst is yet to come. I'm talking with the owners of this property tonight at 10.
Now, News 5 investigates at 10.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on News 5 at 10. I'm Rob Quirk. Lisa is off this week. First up tonight at 10, we continue to track severe weather across southern Colorado. Our team gave you the first alert on this storm earlier this week. Certainly has been a wild weather day from heavy rain, wind, and lightning all across the area. A tornado warning in far southeastern Colorado earlier tonight. Our entire viewing area under a flash flood watch until 7 tomorrow night. A flash flood warning just expired within the past hour for Colorado Springs and the Waldo Canyon burn scar. We have team coverage of today's relentless run of storms and flash flooding. News 5's Kelsey Kennedy, Matt Pritchard have been keeping an eye on the conditions across the region all day long. We'll get to them in just a few minutes, but first, let's start with lead forecaster Mike Daniels in the First Alert 5 Weather Center. Very busy today, Mike. What are you looking at right now?
Well, Rob, eastern Colorado is still a turbulent chunk of real estate. We've got still another round of thunderstorms developing at this late hour across parts of the News 5 viewing area. That's a live look from our camera that sits on top of the building in Pueblo. We've got it pointed off to the south and west, and if we could stay on that shot long enough, you would see lightning strikes, live lightning strikes, because that storm system is producing a lot of that dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning. Let's go to radar now, and I can show you that line of thunderstorms again just off to the south and west of Pueblo. That's a real strong, healthy line of thunderstorms to develop this late at night this time of the year. That stuff is lifting off to the north and east and headed right for Pueblo. Again, this will be the fourth round of thunderstorms to move across Pueblo this afternoon and this evening. When it rains, obviously it pours. Also strong to severe thunderstorms across far southeastern Colorado. There was a severe thunderstorm warning for Baca County earlier. That has just expired, but very heavy rain falling across the far eastern plains. Again, where you see the brighter colors, the reds, those are the areas getting the heavier rainfall. We're dry across Colorado Springs and El Paso County right now, but the big concern is with that dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning. Just in the past 10 minutes, 69 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. We're going to loop these pictures here. We had outflow boundaries come in and help to stimulate more thunderstorms. They initially started to fire up over the higher elevations. Then when they interacted with those outflow boundaries, we saw a huge batch of thunderstorms. And again, that thunderstorm line developing southwest of Pueblo now. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we still could see rain across our area. By noon, showers in the forecast and unusually cool air, even a few leftover showers at 5 o'clock tomorrow. That flash flood watch will continue through at least 7 o'clock tomorrow for most parts of southeastern Colorado. A lot of very important information just ahead in the show. Rob?
Mike, thanks. Right now, a live look at the Waldo Canyon burn scar. A flash flood warning just expired for that area. There's been a threat of flash flooding all day long. So far, nothing major to report. We'll keep watching this for you throughout the night. 2 drivers had to be rescued from their cars after driving into more than a foot of standing water. This on Tijuana Street tonight near Fargo's Pizza. Police tell us neither driver was injured. A storm drain on the street overwhelmed by all the water, debris causing the flooding. One of the drivers was Alfred Hillbrunner's daughter. She called him in a panic after she got stuck.
I was at work when she called me and she said, Daddy, Daddy, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. I said, what? She said, yeah, I drove into a lake and I'm sitting on top of the car. I rescue my cell phone and my purse and the umbrella.
He says her husband came and brought her home after firefighters had rescued her from the top of that car. When the rain was coming down, we sent a News 5 crew to a regular trouble spot in the Springs. This is Seaford Boulevard near the corner of Austin Bluffs and Academy. Water rushing over the street prompted a closure of that road temporarily. We continue our team weather coverage tonight in Manitou Springs. Matt Pritchard is live there tonight. And how are things looking at this hour, Matt?
Well, Rob, it took a while for the rain to reach us here in Manitou Springs, but once it did, the skies opened up and those flash flood warnings started washing in. A similar scenario for many residents around here in Manitou who were ready for it and know it oh too well.
Quite disastrous, to be honest with you.
Dan Parton pastors Timberline Baptist Church in Manitou Springs, a congregation that's felt the sting of biblical flooding over the last few years.
We had our entire basement flooded out and lost everything there in the big flood that came through. And of course, before that, there was the fire, and we all got evacuated out.
His story one of many, as Manitou Springs braces for another downpour weekend with sandbags and hoses at the ready. But for Parton, worried isn't the word he would use.
We're kind of fond of it here, and we have a good number of folks that we have to take care of. So there's concern, but to be honest with you, I'm not worried about it. Worry is not going to do anything to help any situation.
And his neighbors agree, believing extensive flood work will hold up to any challenge the weather brings.
I'm not too worried about the safety of the homes and the structures on this road anymore. I think they've done a lot to make it safe for us.
The lower lying little bits of Manitou, you know, there are a couple little buildings that might flood a little bit, but nothing that I think should bother anybody, you know, concerning life and limb.
Despite that, everyone I spoke with has their sandbags out just in case, a sign of a new attitude in Manitou, one of readiness and prevention.
Well, it's always good to be ready. For the next number of years, we will all have to be ready, especially here in Manitou.
Again, though, this weather is expected to stick around through the night and into tomorrow. For all your latest breaking weather news, you can find it on air online, KOAA.com. In Manitou Springs, Matt Pritchard, News 5 Investigates.
Matt, thanks. Of course, Pueblo not spared from the severe weather. As Mike mentioned, they're on like wave 4 now tonight. Heavy rain, hail, strong winds all through the day. A flash flood warning had people talking in the Steel City, and more is on the way. So far, no reports of any major damage. The Florence Police Department directing traffic around this small mud and rock slide along Highway 67 tonight. Rocks fell into the roadway after a storm with heavy rain and hail moved through. The road not fully closed, though drivers had to be maneuvering through that shallow water. News 5's Kelsey Kennedy picks up our team coverage now. The heavy rain mixed with the snow melt, causing rivers, creeks, and streams to flow fast and full across southern Colorado. And Kelsey, what'd you see? Were you there?
Well, Rob, I'm here along Douglas Creek in Colorado Springs right now, and it's running, but nothing like it is out west. And the Arkansas River in Canyon City is rising, and in Florence, it's already causing problems.
Started through here. There's a low spot down in here that been lapping for the last week and a half or so.
The banks of the Arkansas River here in Florence are already well beyond their banks, and the worst of the rain is yet to come. These homeowners tell me there's nothing they can do but watch. They are concerned about the river continuing to rise with more rain in the forecast.
Hope not, but can't do much about it.
The river here has been high since winter. The Willises tell me it's gotten higher over the last 2 to 3 weeks, most likely because of snowmelt. It overflowed its banks even before this afternoon's storms.
Hope it goes down faster than it came up. But if it rains, it won't.
Farther upstream in Canyon City, the Arkansas well within its banks.
It's not unusual for us to see high water this time of the year. It comes with inherent risks when you get anywhere above 3,500 to 4,000 feet.
5,000 cubic feet per second running through the National Weather Service's gauge this evening. The river is forecasted to crest at 10 feet. That's flood stage by tomorrow evening.
If we get above that, I'm sure all of us in the county are going to start watching all of these low-lying areas with much more interest to make sure there's no threat to, number one, life, and number two, property, of course.
Now, even if the Arkansas River does hit flood stage within the next 24 hours, emergency management officials tell me they're only expecting lowland minor flooding and minor bank erosion along the Arkansas River. Live in Colorado Springs, Kelsey Kennedy, News 5.
Kelsey, thanks. And you might think that high water would deter rafters and kayakers on the Arkansas and Canyon. Well, as we found out, as you see there, this is exactly what some diehards have been waiting for. They told us certain parts of the river great for riding right now.
I absolutely would not recommend this kind of water for beginners. Yeah, it's kind of you got to be really confident in your kayak. You need to learn how to roll and be able to do it that quickly.
That is the key, not for beginners. Raft Masters says their season off to a great start, even though the Arkansas Headwaters Recreation Area has put out an advisory along the Royal Gorge, so they aren't rafting there right now. But there are plenty of other places on the river if you're looking for at least Class 4 rapids. As always, our News 5 viewers helping us tell the weather story. Janet snapped this photo of Hale and Divide. Looks like it's snow covered here in June. This is a great picture. Totes fresh, as the kids say. Mandy says her nephew enjoyed playing in the rain and the puddles in Pueblo, and there are a whole lot of them. Share your photos and video with us anytime. Upload them to KOAA5's Facebook or Twitter pages, or email them to us at mypics@KOAA.com. Remember, you can always stay ahead of the storm right down to your neighborhood. Drive that Doppler at KOAA.com. We have interactive maps posted for you right now under the Weather tab. Now is also a great time to download the First Alert 5 weather app to your smartphone. Our team will be keeping an eye on the weather conditions heading into tomorrow. Join us on News 5 today beginning at 4:30 for complete weather and traffic updates on the 5s. Well, Black Forest got hit by heavy rainstorms today, a stark contrast to 2 years ago today when the deadly and devastating wildfire sparked. The images, though, still etched in our minds. A smoke plume first spotted near Highway 83 and Shoup Road just blew up. Nearly 500 homes destroyed, costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Many people have rebuilt. In fact, we caught up with one family just now getting the frame of their home up. They tell us while their insurance has been helpful, they faced construction challenges all along the way.
We had some issues with building, and that was no fun. Yeah. But we're happy now. We're real happy. Happy to see some progress, and be nice once it stops raining a little so we can get a floor under.
Fire crews also say they've learned a lot about how to better do their job since that devastating firefight. We also mark 2 years today since the devastating Royal Gorge fire ignited. That fire tore through the park, destroying 48 out of 52 buildings, scorched 3,000 acres. But they've been busy rebuilding this southern Colorado tourist attraction ever since. The bridge and park reopened back in May with many new attractions, including the state-of-the-art gondolas and the highest zip line in the country. Well, a close call in Falcon today after a truck lost control, headed right into a gas station. This was the scene on Highway 24 westbound. Crews on scene tell us the truck ran into the gas tank, which then ruptured the truck's diesel tank. Hazmat crews responded, cleaned up the leaking fuel.
We were able to stop it before it got to any water sources, and fortunately we have missed all the rain so far today, so we should be able to clean this up before it spreads any further.
The driver brought to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, talks have begun about raising the sales tax in Colorado Springs to pay for street repairs, including the thousands of potholes. Mayor John Suthers says a half-cent sales tax rate hike could generate up to $40 million a year for city road improvements. We took the question of a tax hike to some of you today.
As long as the money is going to be used for that specific purpose, sure.
I'm just disgusted already with our city. All this money, money, money.
Now, Mayor Suthers has also looked into raising property tax rates for pothole repairs, but ultimately said a sales tax increase would generate more money. And we've learned the mayor, along with the city's streets leaders and manager Corey Farkas, will be on a retreat this weekend to discuss options. We'll let you know what happens. Still ahead tonight, tracking the storm. We're taking a closer look at today's blast of rain and lightning across southern Colorado. And another live look in Pueblo tonight. A flash flood watch continues tonight across the area. Mike is tracking it all.
Mother Nature obviously took us on a wild ride today, and it's not over yet. Still another round of strong thunderstorms developing southwest of Pueblo. Still another round of heavy rain just minutes away from Pueblo. More on that, and I'll tell you your weekend forecast contains still more rain and thunderstorms. When will it all end? That answer after the break here on News 5 at 10.